Notorious transphobe Matt Walsh was recently at a hearing in Tennessee to argue in favor of banning gender-affirming care. And it didn't go well for him, at least for when it comes to his arguments, because over and over, he got pretty much exposed for the moron he is. And so I'm going to give big credit to the Tennessee Holler here for putting together this video, and I'll put the link in the description. But here's some of the ownage.
Can you give us a summary of your educational background or your healthcare education?
I didn't go to college, but I did go to school long enough to learn how to read so I can read the data for myself, and that's exactly what I've done.
And for what purpose do you conduct your research and use this brain of yours?
I use it for the purpose of trying to protect children from being castrated and mutilated.
You don't use it to get clicks?
Well, are you using it right now to try to get clicks with this interaction?
You know, if you're going to come before a committee and make mischaracterizations and misrepresentations, it's fair game for us to ask you your educational background.
You seem to have started this, so you have no medical background, correct?
No.
And you also stated there'd been no studies. Well, I'm sitting here holding a study from the American Academy of Pediatrics, suicidal disparities between transgender and cisgender adults and children. Before you state things, you may need to know all the facts.
Interesting. Now, look, Walsh had responded to this. He said, whoops, you guys accidentally edited all the clips and spliced them together to remove most of my responses. I'm sure it was simple oversight. Here are the full interactions. You're welcome. And he posted a video. Now, look, if you watch those interactions, and of course you're free to, Walsh says pretty much nothing of substance. Oh, I mean, you heard part of it. Oh, I went to school long enough to read. Reading does not equal understanding. His other answers included things like being a human being with a brain and a soul. I'm just looking to make sure the children aren't mutilated. Okay, look, the whole thing, his whole crusade can be summed up with saying that he is just looking out for children's genitals. Now, why is he so transfixed on that? I have no idea. I'm kind of worried about him. How about you stop obsessing over anyone's genitals? You freak. You're a disgusting human being. What are you doing? Look, Matt Walsh, by the way, enjoys talking about teen girls. Especially. Remember, there was video about him talking when he was a radio guy. That, he was talking about how fertile 16-year-old girls are. Gross. You're messed up. You want to talk about grooming? This guy longs to go back to the time where teen girls, young girls, 16-year-olds, married old men. That's the kind of world that Matt Walsh wants to live in. Okay? And by the way, it's not just him. There's an incel movement. All right? We're all aware of this. You got right-wing, far-right MAGA chuds, super misogynistic people who are openly talking about how, you see what feminism, it ruins all the women. See, but you got to get them before the feminism kicks in, you see? That's why you have to get them young. So you can mold them into the ideal wife. Don't believe me? I've got their own words. I'm going to show you some examples of some of the things that they're saying. These are things the right wing are saying about women. I think 18-year-old girls should date 50-plus-year-old men. Wow. Proposing that girls date 50-plus men straight out of high school and throughout university. Again, this is stuff that Matt Walsh talks about. Reasons this would be beneficial to girls. And then there's more to this, by the way. It's the older men can refer her for a job. Oh, isn't that nice? Job training. Reasons why it would be beneficial to the man. Can cycle through girls as they get older. And the girl's sex appeal decreases. Again, we're talking about teens, okay? We're talking about teens. This person is gross. All right? I'm not done. There's more. So part of this image, you can't see it, but it is domestic abuse. And you can see it says domestic discipline turns a woman into a perfect housewife, a woman, sorry. Punishing her when she deserves helps to maintain order in the family. Disgusting. There's more. Marrying a woman today in her late 20s to mid 30s is like purchasing an expired carton of old chunky milk. Comparing women to milk. And rotten, old and rotten, diluted with feminism and secular education. By marrying a young girl, you guarantee virginity, youthfulness, and femininity. You'll guarantee that you'll be able to put your imprint on her completely. You can even teach her subjects of vocabulary, mask yourself. Again, we are talking about grooming. This is grooming. Total grooming. That's what these people are about. All right? And another. Goes down in value as the number of owners and miles, and the clock goes up. We're talking about owners here. So, look, where I got these images from is a great Twitter account, Ask Aubrey, and she goes through and she finds these people and posts the things that they're actually talking about. It's who they are. These are disgusting people with absolutely disgusting views. Now, getting back to Walsh. Walsh, one of his main missions is to erase transgender people from humanity, from existence. The reality of this bill in Tennessee, and I would say all the other anti-transgender bills across the country, again, transgender people, they make up, 0.0001% of the population of the entire country? And yet, what are all these Republicans in state legislators doing? They're laser focused on transgender. Oh, we got to ban the transgender. Oh, transgender. Oh, we got to protect the women, the girls, the bathrooms. No, it's a problem that doesn't exist. Now, the result of this, of course, is engendering anti-trans bigotry, violence against the community. Dr. Allison Stiles, a physician from Memphis, who testified during the hearing, laid it out pretty succinctly, saying that this bill, I feel, was born out of fear-mongering, out of false rhetoric that we are doing sex change operations on children. Now, one of the things that Matt Walsh talks about, that of course he gets wrong, is, they're mutilating the children, doing sex change operations on the children. Now, he had also claimed on Joe Rogan's podcast that millions of kids are taking puberty blockers. No, it's less than 4,000 across the entire country. Just constantly getting it wrong. Vanderbilt University Medical Center, who had to shut down their gender-affirming care, said that they only provided about 5 gender-affirming surgeries to minors every year since 2018. All of them were over 16 years old and had parental consent, and none of them, it's very important, none of them actually received any procedures involving genitals or genitalia. So there's that. That's very, very important. Okay, so they're not mutilating and castrating children. And that's what people like, again, Matt Walsh, like to claim is happening, but it's not happening. And by the way, gender-affirming care, it's not like as if you can just go in and willy-nilly get it. No, you have to go through a process of informed consent, vetting, counseling, primary care, and obviously parental permission. All of these steps are taken before people even get puberty blockers or hormone therapy or the non-genitalia related surgery. Now, she continues by pointing out, Tennessee is outlawing all transgender care. The hate has grown, and we now have a bill that could get parents arrested for taking their gender dysphoric children to the physician and their physicians for taking care of them. Now, she is a physician. She actually has an education in this. She actually knows the science. And there is a reason that every science and pediatric organization is against people like Matt Walsh. Because Matt Walsh and anti-trans people, politicians, are not even following the science at all. Now, the common refrain, of course, that you hear from people who are against gender-affirming care is that, well, look, I understand, but you're going to let a child make this decision? Well, again, according to studies, according to science, usually by the time someone is 4 years old, they know their gender identity. Okay. Now, on that, let me ask people, if you're, like, oh, no, I don't believe that. When did you decide to be whatever gender you are? When did you? I don't remember deciding to be a cisgender male. No, I've always known. There wasn't a decision. I've just known. It's the same with trans people. They just know that that they are transgender. They know. They don't decide. It's who you are. It's who you've always been. And maybe at that time you don't have the words, don't have the vocabulary to put the words together, but you know. But see, here's the thing, though. All these bills are generally about punishing people for being different. Again, trying to erase transgender people. Now, this does nothing to protect children. In fact, it endangers children. Trans children are more likely to commit suicide as a result of, being prevented from living their truth, being who they are. Now, Matt Walsh does not care about those children. He doesn't. He only cares about running your life, having complete and utter control over you. And by the way, your decisions as a parent regarding the health and well-being of your child, if they happen to be transgender. He wants people to live the way that he wants them to. And he wants to make all those decisions for you. That is not personal freedom. But he's not about personal freedom. He calls himself a theocratic fascist. And while that may be tongue-in-cheek, for him at least, it's been proven to be quite, an accurate description of him.